Hey guys, how's it going? Torsar here with another video, finally. I've been gone for a while, and that's what this one is mostly going to be about. As you could see, I'm in a hotel right now. And no, I'm not just staying in a hotel. This is my life. This is what, for many in America, it has come to. I am now part of what's called the working homeless. My landlord didn't like me very much. Even though I paid him all throughout COVID, I owed him 1 month's worth of rent while I was finding a job after COVID ended. He said it was okay. Then all of a sudden did a 360, decided, yeah, it wasn't very okay. And since I had a month-to-month lease, not a year-long lease, there was really nothing I could do about it, as the state I live in has one of the worst eviction laws in the entire world. Yes, there are things I could have done differently along the ways, but are you really going to try to put too much fault on yourself when you think about it and you say, well, I didn't behave perfectly? That's pretty much all of us can say that. But anyway, this isn't going to be a sob story about my life and where it's gone. As you could see, I'm still perfectly healthy. You know, I still got my precious little. This is hard doing it like this. Okay, there she is. See that thing back there? That's all that matters. She's still great. She's still doing fine. And as long as I have her, as long as I have the ability to do this, I'll be fine. My job loves me. My coworkers love me. That's all that really matters, right? Something will happen, I'll be fine, whatever. Like I said, this isn't going to be a sob story. This is about getting back into it. I've been slacking off on this for a while. I never stopped thinking about it. I still want to get back into live streaming. If I could be on something other than crappy hotel Wi-Fi. I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. Something will open up. Something will pop up. You'll hear from me. But what I really wanted to do today was talk more about, what's been going on lately. Mostly in the sports world. As you can see, you might wonder, what's this blue shirt you're wearing? This is a retro New York Mets shirt. My Mets made the playoffs this year, as short-lived as it was. And when I say retro, this really isn't a retro shirt. This is just an OG shirt from the 80s. This shirt is older than most of you are, probably, that are watching this. Or a good chance it's older than you are. Maybe there's some OGs watching this, whatever. The UConn Huskies were doing good. That's my favorite college basketball team. They've kind of gone back to the medium right now, but I wasn't really too hyped up about the 14-0 start. I tempered my expectations just because as a longtime UConn Huskies fan, I know how difficult the Big East schedule can be, even this new age Big East. And I also remember a team that went 9-9 in the regular season and still went on in the greatest postseason run of any sport all time to win a national championship. Love you, Kemba. But right now, what I really want to talk about is my New York Football Giants. How about those G-men? I mean, they are. Who thought they would be here right now? I'm going to admit, just competing for the playoffs was like, yeah, we could do that this year. I never thought Daniel Jones wasn't the guy. People will argue all they want. I mean, people still thought Eli Manning wasn't the guy after he won 2 Super Bowls. So, I mean, what do some people really know about QBs? People are so QB centric, QB this, QB that. Man, it's a 53-man roster. There's 10 other guys on the field on offense, 11 other guys on defense. It takes a 22-man starting roster with a bunch of good backups, a good kicker, good special teams. You need all that. And when you surround him with such average, besides Saquon, such average skill position players on offense and an atrocious offensive line, how are you supposed to tell? Never mind the coaching. New coaching staff, new coaching staff, new coaching staff. We quickly became the Detroit Lions of the NFC East. How are you supposed to tell how good the guy is? Is he Patrick Mahomes? No. But maybe he just is the NFC version of Josh Allen. And this year, Brian Daboll and his coaching staff have worked wonders. I really hope we don't lose Kafka, because sometimes that can happen where as good as the head coach looks like he's done, as good of a job as he looks like he's done, you lose the offensive coordinator and all of a sudden there's a different play caller. And, you've seen it happen before. Maybe even not a total regression, but they just don't maybe do as good the next year. Hell, even Tom Brady seems like he missed Josh McDaniels at times when he was still with New England. Remember that gap from starting with the 18-1 team all the way till when did it take for them to win it again? I mean, there was a long stretch in between Super Bowl wins for the New York Patriots. But either way, the Giants, they're back. They're in the playoffs. They've won a playoff game over a really good team. But who didn't think they couldn't beat the Vikings? The Giants have a long history of doing this. Of losing to a team in the regular season, at the end of the regular season, or near the end, and then beating them in the playoffs. I believe they did it back in the day with San Francisco. I could be wrong about that. But we know they did it to the Bills. They did it to the Patriots, both in Super Bowls. They just did it to the Vikings. There's others that I'm just forgetting about. I don't even want to take the time to look it up. People can correct me, add to it in the comments. The Giants just have a history, ironically, of being giant killers. But the next game, man, besides that 18-1 game, I have never, ever wanted to win a game so bad. I want revenge for what they did to us a couple years ago in the most shameful game ever in NFL history when Doug Peterson, and I don't think it was Doug Peterson who was behind it. I think that came from up above, from Jeffrey Lurie and company, Howie Roseman, who ordered him not to play his best QB or even his second best QB, and just pretty much gave that game away, costing the New York Giants a direct shot to get into the playoffs. The most shameful game ever in NFL history, where the team obviously didn't even try to compete. So, it's revenge time. Now, the Eagles were looking like the best team for most of the year in the NFL. But let's face it, Jalen Hurts, maybe by a Peyton Manning default. Remember that year when Peyton Manning hurt himself and the Colts went from like one of the best teams in the NFL, pretty much a yearly 14-2, 13-3, 12-4 team, to what were they that year? 3-13, 4-12. And people thought that, jokingly said, "Oh, Peyton Manning should just win the MVP, even though he was hurt all year, because it's obvious he was the most valuable player in football." So, Jalen Hurts was kind of showing that in his absence. They had kind of a hiccup, and they didn't exactly get back on track against our backups in that last regular season game. Now, that could be kind of a mental thing. They knew they were playing our backups. They kind of took it for granted. You know, Jalen Hurts is shaking the rust off. Guys are kind of playing halfway just to try to not get hurt, which, from all I've heard, can be just as dangerous in the NFL, or if not more dangerous, when you're kind of not fully in it. Which is one probably major reason why it was one of the best ideas ever to not continue that Bills-Bengals game. Because which one of those players on either side would have been fully invested in that game afterwards? That was just asking for trouble. So I really like our chances at winning that game, all these things being said. Our defense is playing great. We're getting after the QB. As long as the refs don't call any stupid, ridiculous roughing the passer penalties. Alright? Please, guys, don't brush anyone's face mask. Barely brush their face mask. The people who are defending that call, I just don't even get it. So that's what you want to watch? That's what you want to watch. Is a defender literally having to hug the QB and then lay him down with a blankie and that's what you want to watch? No one wants to see that. No, I don't want to see the guy get obliterated or have done to him like, you know, a Tony Romo special like the Eagles used to do to him. What was that one Eagles player? I can't even remember. That just flopped down on him, obviously, and like snapped his collarbone in half. I mean, no one wants to see that either. But we don't want to see like these weenie little roughing the passer calls either. So as long as we can avoid any mistakes, Daniel Jones goes, 0 turnovers. Maybe, you don't want to always hold him to, he can't turn the ball over at all. The guy's had a very turnover-free year. And even before this year, if you look at his stats, he's been improving in his turnovers every year, even before this coaching staff came in. So it's not like this coaching staff took him from being this, like, just absolute turnover machine to now he's almost not turning the ball over at all. No, he's been improving on this every year. Now he's gotten to the point where he's, like, really, you're almost surprised when he throws an interception or loses a fumble. So if we can continue picking up first downs like we have been, stay relatively turnover prone, if Saquon can crack a few big ones and we can get a few big other plays, no more drop passes and key moments, Slayton. If Hodgins can be healthy, I know I seen a picture of his ankle on Twitter, and it was even before the game, and it was, if anyone saw that, you know what I'm talking about. If we can do all those things, I really like our chances. Either way, the NFC East is represented this year. No more NFC least. It's really looking like this might be, I'm not going to pick the Cowboys over the Niners. I'm going with the Niners all the way. That should be a good game. If anyone follows Dr. Disrespect or Tim the Tatman, Doc's a 49ers fan, and Tim the Tatman's a Cowboys fan. So if you're a fan of those guys, that just adds extra juice to it. That should be a good game, an all-time classic matchup, even if you have no idea who those guys are. But it very well could be an all NFC champion, an all NFC East NFC championship game. It very well could be. So no more NFC least. Some people are saying the Giants look like they could be a team of destiny. I don't know about that. Again, as a fan, I'd like to temper my expectations. I think they're saying that just because we have a history of it. I don't know. The Eagles, the Cowboys, and the 49ers are all very good teams. If we could get to the Super Bowl through two of those guys, that would be one of the all-time runs. Some Giants fans are saying this would be their all-time favorite team if we could win one this year. win a Super Bowl. I don't know about that. I mean, 18-1 is forever, man. 18-1. You spoiled that. I don't know how you top that. I'd have to see. Let's do it first. But anyways, guys, man, I don't know how that happens. I'm not even going to bother to edit that out. My screen just went. I guess I got to move my thing around while I'm talking. My screen just went into blackout. I don't know how that happens, but oh well. Noob mistake. Shows I need to shake some rust off too, huh, guys? Anyway, I'm gonna try to be around more often, make some videos. I got nothing better to do, as you can see. But until next time, I'll see you guys. Have fun. Enjoy the playoffs. Go Giants. Beat them Eagles. Cry, Eagles, cry. You deserve this cold revenge. Peace.